I'm Dan Starks, president and founder of Starks Training Institute. I have been a self-defense instructor and ranked in the top 10 instructors in the United States by the NRA for over 10 years. Had a television show called Don't Be a Victim. It's Christmas time. I want to make sure people in this community are safe, and you can reach me 704-392-SAFE or www.danstarks.com. And remember, it's your choice. Don't be a victim. Thank you.
Airing tonight on Shine Your Light Radio Ministry at WYTV7 in Charlotte, North Carolina. So excited for this upcoming interview. I think you're going to learn a lot. You know, the holidays are coming up, and we really need to talk to this gentleman that's going to tell us some great holiday tips. He is a safety expert for 25 years, has a company called Starks Training Institute, which he created and founded. His name is Dan Starks, and I'm so excited to have him. We're going to learn an awful lot from him tonight. His main mantra is don't be a victim. So without further ado, let me introduce Dan Starks and just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you want to start off, Dan.
Well, I'm honored, Nancy. First of all, I'm honored to be on the show. I've been in the business since 1988, and I got into it in a roundabout way. I was mugged and stabbed and beaten as a kid, so it made me realize how vulnerable I was. And you started out, your question was home invasions. Home invasion happens in this country every 20 seconds, and 75% of them end up with somebody bleeding. So we've got to understand there are things to do. And I've got some tips that I'd like to share with you. Okay, when you are looking at a house, you want to make the house a hard target. I suggest people go out and buy a large dog bowl and put food in it and put a sign next to it that says, I love my Rottweiler. Burglars don't mess with houses with dogs, okay? Then you want to walk around your house at night with the curtains closed and look and see what you can see. People with blinds don't understand. If you're on the second floor, you want to have your blinds pointed down. If you're on the first floor, you want to have your blinds pointed up, because otherwise people can look in from the street level and see what's going on in the house. So I mean, it's very important to take a proactive approach to your well-being.
Yes, sir. Oh my goodness. We're going to get really deep into this. I have a lot of questions for you, but tell us first, Dan, the difference in self-defense and self-protection. Yes.
Protection is the proactive, preemptive things you do before you become a victim. You lock your doors, you close your blind, password protection. You look at your life through the eyes of a criminal. Say, what is there about me that makes me a person of interest? When self-protection fails, that goes into self-defense. That's you an ugly feral man, and that's when you're really ugly. That's when you have to learn how to fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, I want to ask you a few questions so we can get into this holiday tips that everyone's getting ready to come into, which makes you so valuable to all of us. How can an individual properly shield themselves from holiday home invasions? Which, by the way, holiday home invasions scare me really bad.
Yeah, and then home invasions really started out in the 90s. In order to make yourself a hard target, I suggest you invest in prickly shrubs and put them around the door and put them outside your windows. That way people can't get close to your windows, okay? Install a peephole on your front door and then install a hard lock that you can, can't be kicked in. Before you open the door, you always look out the peephole. If you do not know who the people are, do not open the door.
That's absolutely right. I appreciate that. And I was telling, as I was reading through all of your stuff, I was thinking about that most popular movie. And I don't mean to make light of what you're talking about, but if we think back to that popular movie that's a classic now called Home Alone, some of the things that that young gentleman did when he was home alone is really a lot of common sense stuff that you're really telling us to do. But I like to add a little humor in that because that just amazes me when I read through everything you were doing. To think about Home Alone really is a more common day thing that we see and we all watch and we laugh at the movie, but it's a very, very serious thing that we're talking about during the holidays. So
And we let our kids travel the most dangerous highway in the world, the internet. And what they tell people on the internet can be deadly. So it's got to be really critical that parents have a control over that.
absolutely. Isn't that the truth? I'm telling you what, this internet thing scares me and kids are just so on it all the time playing games and just really I even had an instant with my son, my grandson, who's 15 now, but when he was 13 he was playing a game and he didn't know who he was playing against. Someone asked him if he could play against him. Come to find out it was a grown man, and I told my son, I said, no, you don't let them do that. You have to monitor everything they do because there's predators on the internet. Well, anyway, let's get back to the home invasions. In the event something happens, what is the course of action for single moms, women, and elderly people who may possibly live alone? What's
I
to
would
do?
suggest if you're living alone, you always carry a cell phone in your pocket. And that way, if you have any problems, you have access to 911. I also suggest that people put something like an OC pepper foam, which is an aerosol repellent, and mount it by the door. So if you need it, it's right there in your hand. It's not going to do you any good if you're at the door and it's in your dress. So you just want to be able to, and what that does, when you spray somebody in the face, it takes away their vision and makes it hard for them to breathe, giving you an exit strategy. Of course, firearms are another option.
Makes some really good sense.
I think it's critical when you are out in public. Let's assume, Nancy, that you're at Belk's, okay, and you're shopping, and they ask you for your phone number. Do not give them your home phone number verbally, because you're giving that to everybody who is standing near you, who can then put it in their smartphone and find out where you live. Give them a fake number. I mean, they're not going to call you anyways. It's just a matter of protocol. But you see, with cell phones and the internet, we give away so much electronic technology without thinking about it. You know, you've got to understand, you and I are inventory for the criminals. That's all they are. They're predators and they're looking for easy targets. And obviously women with a purse or senior citizens or young children are easy targets.
Wow. You know what? I want to do a little station break here on WYTV7 out of Charlotte. I'd like for all of our viewers that are watching and listening to go to WYTV7.org and go to contact and get a copy of the tips that Dan's talking about tonight. And also there's a safety quiz out there that you can take, which is very helpful. It's very enlightening and very helpful. All we're trying to do is make you aware during the holidays so maybe you can prevent some really bad things that are happening and what to do if something does happen to you, okay? And but I have a couple more questions, Dan, that I really want to talk about. What are people doing negatively that can put them at risk for home invasion?
First of all, they don't think it will ever happen to them. They're not preparing for it. I have been in this business 31 years. Every victim I've ever said, why? They said, I didn't think to lock the door. I didn't think to look in the back seat. The mind's the most lethal weapon we have. We have to understand it's the 21st century. They walk amongst us. Nancy, if you were to stand up and put your arms out by your side and turn around 360 degrees, according to the FBI, if you're in public, 25% of the people within arm's length of you are mentally unstable or criminally insane. They walk amongst us.
Wow. You know, we all think it can't happen to us. We see this horrible news on the television, hear it on the radio, and we just think it can't happen to us. So we're not prepared mentally or physically if something does happen. That's why this show is so important. I want all of y'all to take heed of what Dan, the security expert, is telling us, because he has a lot of knowledge and a lot of tips to share with us that can help us through some really bad times. So, Dan, tell me, what do you think, why do you think so many people don't take the necessary precautions to protect themselves from unforeseen dangers?
Very simple, because I think it always happens to someone else. I happen to live in South Charlotte, and there's some very high dollar neighborhoods around here. And people think, well, I live in la-di-da land. Well, so what? If I live in the hood, I'm not going to bother breaking into my neighbor's house. I'm going to come out to your house and get your bicycle, your golf clubs, your golf cart. But you see, these people don't think that way. They think they live in la-la land, and they don't. And when something happens, when somebody chooses you, the operative word is chooses you, and they attack you, you're looking at a time window of 3 to 5 seconds to be able to recognize the problem, respond it, and resolve it. That's not much time.
It sure is not much time. I tell you, it probably seems like an eternity, but it's just not much time to think. So unless you have it in here, what your plan is. So tell us a little bit about what things we need to do in our homes that we need to be sure and do on the inside to protect us. I know I live in an apartment and I've only got one way in and out, but I have windows in the back bedrooms. So kind of tips on what we're supposed to do.
Well, you want to walk around your house at night as if you were a criminal and look to see what you can actually see when you think the house is secure. With blinds and stuff, it really makes a difference how you turn them, up or down, whether you're on the first or second floor. And then, first of all, fix that. And then mount something on the wall for self-defense, like a can of pepper foam, right by your front door. So if somebody comes in and gives you a hard time, you at least have something in your hand. And always keep your cell phone on you so you can call for emergency.
You say something about have a code word. What is that about?
If you have children, if you have a family, you have a code that says, okay, we need to get out of the house. Could be your grandmother's name, it could be a catchphrase. And if everybody does that, and then you train, and then you have a drill, see how long it takes for the family to get outside. Now, not only getting outside is important, you also have to have a predetermined place where you're going to meet. And then that's also critical if you're in a mall and, if something happens in a mall, the family needs to know where you're going to meet.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. Let me go down through here. Okay, let's talk a little bit if we're hosting a party or an event at our home during the holidays, which we all do. We have a lot of people over. Most of the time it's family, but it could be, extended family. So how do we protect our personal information if we have a lot of people in our home?
Well, first of all, I think there's got to be a place where ladies can put their purses that only family members can accompany them to it. In other words, when I was a kid, we used to go to my grandmother's, we used to go all put our coats in one room. Well, it was all family. Well, now we have extended family, you have friends and stuff, and you want to protect your financial information. You do not want to leave checkbooks around. You do not want to leave prescriptions around, because all somebody's got to do is come in, take a check out of the back of your checkbook. You won't know it for a while, and then you're going to go to use your checking account and you've been bled dry. And the same thing with prescriptions. They're getting these things, they're selling them in high schools. So you've got to take things like that that are critical and make sure that they're secured. And, most people coming into your house would understand that. they would respect that, the fact that you're protecting their good being.
I have a bad habit of taking my purse with me, and when I go somewhere, and I actually will leave it in my car under my seat instead of take it in. That's a no-no, right?
Not only is it a no-no, you should never, as a matter of fact, you should not even have your GPS in your car take you to your home. It should take you to a home in your neighborhood. Because if somebody steals your car and the GPS takes you home, and then what do you have? You've got your garage door remote in there, so that allows them to get into the house. You know, you have really what you need to do is look at your life through the eyes of a criminal and say, what are the chinks in my armor and how can I fix them? And you have to understand, criminals are predators. They don't care who you are, where you work, where you play. All they want to do is get somebody who's available, accessible, and vulnerable. And the unintended consequences of crime is absolutely astronomical. It could be job altering, life altering, marriage altering, you know what I mean? So you have to understand, and it's crazy out there. I mean, it's 21st century. There's violence amongst us all the time. Charlotte just had its 96th murder.
Yeah, that's pretty scary, and it's hard, at least it's hard for me to think about what a criminal would do, because, we're all so happy-go-lucky and we're all just having a great time during the holidays that we're not really paying attention. I know one time I heard that we shouldn't put our packages in our back seat, put it in the trunk,
Well,
but,
we talk about that. If you go shopping, okay, first of all, don't carry more than you're going to carry. When you go out and put it in your trunk, get in your car and move your car. There are people sitting in the parking lot watching you. So you go out, put all your packages in your car, you go into the store, come back out, somebody's broken into your car. Another tip on that, Nancy, if you have a remote control lock on your door, do not use it in public. Lock your doors manually, because if you use the remote control and somebody has a scanner in the community, they'll download your lock and be able to get into your car without the alarm going off. Now, it's not difficult to do. All you do is just push the button, and hold the door, but that will defeat them. It's little things like that that make a difference. But if you're going to go shopping and you put stuff in your car and you're going to go back in the store, get in your car and drive to the other side of the mall. Okay, it may be a pain, but it won't be as much of a pain as coming out and having your car empty.
wow, I hadn't thought about that. Now, see, that's something that we all need to know and pay attention to, because we always use our clicker and I know I just open my trunk with my clicker and I put my gifts and my packages in my car, and then I head back in. Little do I know people are watching and they could break into your car to get your gifts, plus they could break into your car to steal your car. So absolutely, that was some great advice there. I hope everybody's paying attention.
And again, don't put your GPS address to take you to your home. Take it to your neighborhood. You can find your way home. And also in your cell phone, don't identify mom, dad, sister, because if somebody steals your phone, text mom, hey mom, I need some money. Mom's going to think it's daughter, granddaughter, and often, put your mother's maiden name in it or her nickname. That way, if somebody steals your phone, they're not able to identify the relationship you have with that person. See, the whole thing about being able to defeat criminal is to think like one, look at your life through the eyes of one, and then say, okay, I need to fix this, this, and this.
Wow. Golly, thank you so much for that. I see an Emmy behind you. Tell us about your trophy that's behind you. You're an Emmy Award winner.
I was blessed. I had a television show on NBC called Don't Be a Victim for 11 years. And for 11 years, we walked the red carpet at the Emmys, and I actually brought one home. I also had a show called Partners Against Crime. I was nominated 7 times for an Emmy. And I worked with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department handling cold case murders and things of that sort. It was a really fun time in my life.
I love that. That's awesome. I forgot to mention that you were an Emmy Award winner. So that's really, really special. And I'm so excited again. Today we're talking to Dan Starks. He is the security expert, been an expert for 25 years on security, has won an Emmy for his show that he had several years ago. And his mantra is don't be a victim. So if you're just joining us, please realize that this is just such an awesome, awesome show that we're taping because we are trying to make sure that you're prepared for the holidays, and maybe we can cut some crime off at the beginning before it ever happens. So go ahead.
Connie and I were knighted into an ancient knighthood of Isle of Malta by the Prime Minister of Budapest. All the lives we've helped save in this country, and it was a outstanding tradition. The knighthood goes back to Rome, 1050 A.D., and it was quite a ceremony. But a couple of things: what we want to make your house a hard target. You want to have great external lighting. You might want to have the kind of light that goes on a motion detector, so it can't be defeated. There's also a device that you can buy at like Walmart that you can put it in your driveway, and if a car pulls into your driveway, there's a little sensor in your kitchen that goes beep, 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 so that you know somebody's coming in. You want to review all your safety alarms and then have a plan, especially if you have kids. Rehearse it, rehearse it, rehearse it, kind of like you did when you were in grammar school, when they had the fire drills. Only this time we're not going to hide under the desk. But and you know, if you again, it's little silly things like putting a dog bowl outside, the sign "I love my Rottweiler." You know, well, I can tell you, I've interviewed thousands of criminals, and they will not break into a house with a dog because they don't know if it's a Great Dane, German Shepherd, or a little terrier, but they don't like them. So making whether they have one or not, let people on the outside think it. And of course, I think investing in a good security system is a wise investment. I have a security system here. I don't have a security system to protect me. I have a security system to allow me to know that my perimeter's been compromised. When I leave the house, I turn the television on in one end of the house to a Fox News, a sports or a news type channel. And then I turn a radio on the other end of the house to a news talk radio. And I turn the volume up loud enough in those rooms so if somebody's outside the house, they assume that there's somebody in the house. They go across the street. And if that saves my bacon, that's a cheap investment.
Absolutely, and that reminds me of that show again. I'm sure you've watched it, that Home Alone show. He did that. He had people trying to break into his home. Of course, he's probably a 13-year-old at Home Alone, and he's like turning on a movie that's like You Dirty Rotten Scandal and things like that. And these robbers are basically hearing it on the outside, and they're like, my goodness, he even showed people dancing shadows, dancing in the window. But it really does remind me of a lot of things that you're talking about, just common sense things. So also, I have another question for you. When we're traveling, what should I do about posting travel info on social media? What's the hazard of that, and what would I do about that?
The only smart thing about posting travel photographs is post them when you come home. Because if you post them on the social media, criminals are saying that, and they can find out where you live. Oh, good, she's not going to be home for 2 weeks. We can pull in the garage and empty your house. Also, if you have children that are posting pictures on the Facebook, do not have them wear high school like lacrosse team stuff, because they're identifying them to predators, and then the predators know what school they go to, know what sport they play, know their name, and they go hang out in the field and say, "Hi, Cindy, how are you?" And they emotionally disarm these kids by knowing their name. We have to understand the criminals today are as sophisticated as the technological world will allow them.
Yes, sir. That's absolutely true. I know in the early days, probably as much as maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I was traveling a lot, I would always go on Facebook and I would post like every couple of hours when I stopped where I was. And one day it dawned on me, look, people are following me where I am. They could go break in my house and my husband's handicapped. They could hurt my husband or they know I'm not home or whatever. So I stopped doing that because there's that special thing, especially on Facebook where you can tag where you are at a certain point in time, take a picture, whatever. But that's really very dangerous because who knows?
You also have to be very leery of people approaching you in public and asking you a question, what time it is, where Best Buy is. They don't want to know that. What they're trying to do is emotionally disarm you, get close enough to you to control you.
Hmm.
And of course, somebody's talking to you, what's going to do? You're going to let them get close to you. And the closer they get to you, the more chances are of you becoming a victim. So you need to be able to put up your hands and say, "Do I know you?" And then you let them. It's not an aggressive posture, but it's hey, don't come near me, and that'll turn off most people, or at least let them know that you're in tune with what they're trying to do. And you've got to be when you're out in public, you've got to be aware of people that you see. You're at Belk and you see this person. You're at Harris Theater, you see this person. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It's probably somebody who's following you, thinking, "Oh, maybe I'll attack this person in a parking lot or whatever." You're standing at the counter and you give out your phone number. They write down your phone number. They know where you live. They look over your shoulder. They see your credit cards, your cash, so they know now that you're a viable target. You've got to be very, very different and dealing things differently in the 21st century. It's a different world out there.
It really is. And we see it on the news all the time, but we don't think it can happen to us. We only have a few more minutes, but I want to be sure and everyone knows how to reach you, Dan. And also, I want to remind people again that WITV7 is a nonprofit. We do take donations for WITV7, and we use it to publicize and promote our broadcast internationally, as well as we do a lot of things in the community also. We do financial literacy, we do regular literacy, we feed the homeless. There's a lot of things that our nonprofit does. It's really, really good. But I also want to remind you to go to WITV7.org and to the contact page and get those tips and request that quiz that Dan has graciously shared with us, because I just think it's so vitally important. I really want to try to stop some crime this holiday season, and that's what this is all about. So Dan, before we go, we only got a few more minutes. Would you like to share some of your information of how people can reach you?
I absolutely would. First of all, I want to commend you on what you're doing for the community. It's a great social involvement. I can be reached on my website, danstarks.com, and that has email and access to me. Or you can email me at www.danstarks.com. Either one. And I'm open for the kind of thing. We work with all types of communities. I am known as the realtor self-defense guru in North and South Carolina. I also offer campus safety courses for mothers with new moms, senior citizens. I actually put together a course for mall walkers who get to the mall at 5 in the morning. Because the bottom line is, criminals don't care who you are. We're all inventory for them, and they're going to come out looking for you. And if you're not prepared and they do something to you, the unintended consequences of it are devastating.
Yes, sir, Dan, and I thank you so much for being with me and letting me talk to you for a few minutes about some very, very important safety tips for the holiday seasons. And I'd just like to remind all our viewers that we are going to have Dan back, and we're going to do a part 2 of holiday safety. That'll probably be in December when we do that. So I'm so excited, and again, thank you all for joining us. I hope you've learned a lot, and don't forget to go and get your security quiz and your tips off of WYTV7.org. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great evening.
As I ended my TV show, remember, it's your choice. Don't be a victim. I'm Dan Starks. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, son.
Your choice. Don't be a victim.